What's happening, everybody? Matt here, but you can call me Matub, and welcome to Hottest Take of the Week, a show where I look at dumb stuff on the internet and I talk about it. And this week, there is a lot of dumb stuff. First of all, Aaron Jones is going to be out of commission for the first 2 weeks of the season because he admitted to having marijuana on him during a traffic stop last year. Okay, that's kind of rough. It's really stupid, but it is the first two games, and that includes a game against the Chicago Bears, who Ty Montgomery tends to have a pretty good time against. So I would like to see what a healthy Ty Montgomery can do this year. To bring back an old classic, Andy Benoit is still on his bullshit about Ty Montgomery's number. Ty Montgomery is 88. Just Andy Benoit refuses to leave that hill. Andy Benoit recently released an article saying in the NFL, they mean something. Numbers in the 20s, 30s, and 40s are running backs on offense and defensive backs on defense. Those with 60s and 70s play in the trenches, teens and 80s are wide receivers, etc. This continuity, while imperfect, see Packers running back Ty Montgomery, who the league inexplicably allows to wear number 28, tells a story. Oh, God. You know what? If he is going to complain about this, why don't you complain about Jake Ryan wearing a number in the 40s after the Bosworth rule was passed? I don't know. Just the complaint about the numbers is old and tired, and Benoit needs to find a different song. Recently, Ben Baldwin of The Athletic Seattle said that Matt Ryan surpassed Rodgers in 2015 and never looked back. Plus, he's younger and healthier. Okay, well, I mean, outside of Rodgers' collarbone injury, he hasn't really missed any serious time for quite a while. Actually, since his last collarbone injury, and he's also only a year older than Matt Ryan, so I don't really know how you can bring age into this. He goes on to cite this expected points added per play and shows that Matt Ryan has been higher than Aaron Rodgers since 2015. That doesn't include the Packers offense completely imploding without Jordy Nelson in 2015. Matt Ryan having what was a spectacular and MVP season in 2016. And then, of course, when Matt Ryan takes a dip in 2017, Aaron Rodgers is out with a broken collarbone, and that number mostly uses Brett Hundley and his quarterbacking. And when he was confronted about using the 2017 number that includes Brett Hundley, he says, staying healthy is at least part of a skill. I'm pretty sure that staying healthy isn't a skill when you have a linebacker landing on you, causing your collarbone to break in kind of a freak hit accident thing. Not necessarily that Matt Ryan has stronger collarbones than Aaron Rodgers that would make him better. Just the fact that he didn't get unlucky last year. Moving back into the blog space, we've got the Chicago Bear Pause listing 4 reasons why the Packers are done winning. And it is rife with just awful takes. And I can't really do this article justice. So you guys should check the link down in the description and read it. It is so awful that it's like if you took a stereotypical Bears fan and just listened to their ranting, including the bad grammar, and posted it on a website. But absolutely, the best reason is number 4, which is LeBron James. LeBron James is the reason that the Packers are not going to win games anymore. Check the article. It is spectacularly awful. Moving on to what is the hottest football take this week, we have ESPN ranking the NFL's best and worst offensive arsenals. Green Bay Packers come in at 23. Now, that's when you look at the depth at wide receiver behind Devontae Adams, you've got Geronimo Allison, Randall Cobb, who is currently, we'll call him middling, and then a bunch of rookies. So Geronimo Allison, probably not even a 4th receiver on anyone else's teams. Randall Cobb is almost exclusively a slot guy who has utility, but isn't necessarily like the offensive weapon that he was a few years ago. And we also have Jimmy Graham, who he's getting older. He really, in order to make a huge difference, he's going to have to put up numbers similar to, let's say, Gronkowski or Kelsey, which is definitely possible, especially with his red zone efficiency paired with Aaron Rodgers' red zone efficiency. But when you look at other teams, they definitely have, we'll just say, a more proven stable of wide receivers. But what makes us take hot is not necessarily the Packers' positioning. I personally think that they're middle of the road when you just look at total offensive arsenal, even including the greatness that is Aaron Rodgers. You have to look at how everyone else has complete offenses that don't rely specifically on one person. But there are teams ahead of the Packers that I take big issue with. For example, directly after the Packers are the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos are getting a brand new quarterback in Case Keenum, who we don't even know if he's going to fit their system very well. Not to mention the fact that the Broncos don't necessarily have a good stable of running backs, and they have two formerly good wide receivers who honestly haven't been that great. The article goes on to mention people like Devontae Booker, Royce Freeman, and coming off of a monstrous injury and kind of having a first season in Jake Butt. And then it ends with having to rely on Emmanuel Sanders and Demaryius Thomas once again, who have been inconsistent. They've both had cases of the dropsies and have been shut down by pretty good corners more often than not. I would personally take the Packers stable of running backs and Devontae Adams and half a ham sandwich against the Broncos, like, together offensive arsenal, air quotes. And the article doesn't even mention the Packers running backs. It just talks about the wide receivers. And so if running backs don't really matter, like the article is kind of implying, the Arizona Cardinals are ahead of the Packers. And the Arizona Cardinals offense is entirely reliant on their transcendent running back, David Johnson. So with David Johnson coming back, him kind of being their offense, you've got a 100-year-old Larry Fitzgerald, and that's it. I guess like J.J. Nelson? But J.J. Nelson was called not even an NFL caliber receiver by his own coach. So I don't really know how you can put that ahead of what we have over in Green Bay. But I know that's just me. Take's pretty hot. It even goes on to include the Oakland Raiders, who have Amari Cooper and Derek Carr, I guess. I forgot. Jordy Nelson now plays for the Oakland Raiders. Oh man, I kind of blacked out about that for a second. That was my bad. So I guess when you've got old man Jordy, old man Marshawn Lynch, and Amari Cooper, that somehow makes you better than what the Packers currently. Moving on to what is not only the hottest take of the week, but might be one of the hottest takes of all time. I know that this isn't exactly relevant, but the San Diego Union Tribune recently released an article saying that dogs are not man's best friend, but they are parasites. I personally own 2 dogs. Many of the Acme Packing Company staff are dog lovers. I know a lot of the readers are dog lovers. A lot of my watchers are dog lovers. The article goes on to say that spending money on your pets to pamper them is really no different than just throwing the money away, because if you give a dog a steak, it can't tell the difference between if you give it a hamburger, I guess. It's frustrating. And even the author finishes the article by apologizing to the dogs that he has. Never once mentioning that dogs provide companionship, and it is upsetting to me to even talk about this and give it legitimacy. But oh man, I'm looking at the Twitter post right now. They are getting absolutely dunked on in the ratio. As of right now, there are 5.6 thousand comments versus 600 retweets, and the top response, to bring this back to a football related take, the top response says that the Chargers left you for a reason. Get them a body bag. They're dead. That is just, it's beautiful. I couldn't have said it better myself. Well, guys, since this isn't really football related, I can't exactly give it my usual 1 to 5. But I would, if this was a football take, I would give it a 4. It's a strong 4, leaning to a 5. that was tiring. Well, guys, training camp starts soon. We should have real news to talk about, not just awful off-season hot takes that have been spouted over and over again. And I hope to bring it to you every week throughout the season, right here on Acme Packing Company. As always, I'm Matt, but you can call me Matub, and go Pack Go.